All right, we look to be happening. If you haven't figured it out, I had a few technical difficulties with my scheduled live. For some reason, it wasn't starting, so I've just had to start it separately. So hopefully, if anyone had scheduled reminders, that you find your way here. It's the first time I've done a scheduled live, so I am not surprised there's a few technical difficulties. At least it didn't start with you in my pocket or something like that. So I guess why we're here is that in honour of International Coaching Week, I wanted to provide the opportunity for me to answer some questions about coaching. Coaching is a really personal thing and something that is nice to know a little bit about before you go into it. So I have some really cool questions here, and if you do have some of your own that don't come up here, then feel free to drop them in the comments and I will answer some extra ones at the end. I want to really value your time today and be respectful of that. So I know it's a big commitment, so let's get into it. So I'm Tara Jackson, for those of you who don't know me. I'm a life alignment coach, and I help you cut through the overwhelm and find your potential and step into a thriving life. So let's kick into it. First thing is, what is coaching? This is always a good one to get really clear on. So coaching is it's a results-oriented process, and it's designed to shift you forward in your life, whatever it is you need shifting forward for. So whereas therapy or counselling, you will delve into the past a whole lot and resolve some past experiences, coaching is much more forward-focused. It's about getting really, really clear on what it is you actually want and really clear on where you're at now and bridging that gap between. So in saying that, often we do unpack some past experiences or thinking patterns or behavioural patterns, but we do that to aid you to shift forward. If you are feeling like you're not ready to move forward because of something from your past, then that would suggest perhaps you're not ready for coaching yet, and one of the other developmental supports could be a better place to start. It's also important to recognise that it is not about giving or getting advice, that if you're looking for advice, then perhaps a mentor or a consultant is a really great place to start, or a teacher. Coaching is designed to help you find your own answers, and your coach will create a space and give you the opportunity to do that. And the power of that is that you then create some self-sufficient skills and habits that you can take, not just for the focus that you're getting coaching on, but you can use again and again and again throughout your life to create your vision, to achieve your goals, to face your challenges, and to draw on the many resources that are available to you. It's made up of two parts. You have your one-on-one time with the coach, and that is a great neutral space to start to explore ideas, to really understand what it is you want, and to start to create the plan on how you're going to make it happen. And then the other important part of the process is between the one-on-one sessions, and that is where I think a lot of the real power actually happens in coaching, because that's when you take things from an idea to actually bring it into your reality, and you start to take the steps towards whatever it is you're working towards. And that is when you really start to see the progress and put things into practice. How do I get started? So how do you get started? First and foremost, you need to understand what it is you want from the process. So take some time to think, what is it that you would like to achieve? You don't need all the detail, but the more specific you can get and what it is you'd like to achieve and what sort of support it is that you need, then the more you're going to be able to find the right person to support you in the process. So get clear on that, and then start to do some research. And that might be jumping on Google and looking at the many options out there. That might be asking for recommendations, and you'll probably be a bit surprised at how many people have actually worked with a coach and can recommend a coach to you. And then start to look at the options that you've found and find the ones that feel aligned with what it is that you want. And then any good coach will have a free initial session that you can sign up for. It might just be called an introductory session or a clarity chat or a strategy chat or something like that. Sign up for one of them with a few of the coaches that you feel are aligned with what you want to do, and go from there. What can I expect from those free sessions? Cool. I love this question because it's a really vulnerable place to be. Even as a coach myself, when I went to find my coaches that I work with, I found that process a little bit nerve-wracking, signing up for these sessions. So what to expect? I guess first and foremost, these sessions are a chance to put what it is you'd like to see happen in the situation you're in on the table, and to share that with these potential coaches. And then your potential coach, the person that you're meeting with, will have an opportunity to share with you how coaching with them might be able to support that progress that you're looking for. But probably the most important thing that you get out of that time is basically a compatibility check. Coaching, it's a relationship. And just like when you meet anybody in your life, you get a sense for whether you are comfortable with that person, whether you click or not. And so having that time to check your compatibility is really valuable. And then lastly, it's a chance for you to ask any and all questions that you might have, and really encourage you to have a think about what questions you do have. No question is a silly one, so arm yourself with as many as you need to. What can I expect from my coach? This is a pretty varied thing because it very much depends on the coach that you go for and the way that they specifically work. But in general, what can you expect? You can absolutely expect a neutral space, a place where the only agenda that coach has is to support you towards the success as defined by you. It's a neutral space to explore any and all ideas, to confront some of the challenges that you're facing, to explore your fears, any blocks you have, to look at the habits and the hopes and the dreams that you have. So essentially, you're creating space in your life by working with a coach. You certainly can expect impeccable listening skills. That's an essential for any coach, is that they are a fantastic listener. And that doesn't mean just listen to whatever it is you're saying. They will be listening to what you say, what you don't say, how you say what you say, and using that to support your growth and to support you to shift forward and progress towards what it is you want to work towards. You can expect a lot of challenge and a lot of support. Your coach should be one of your ultimate cheerleaders and also your ultimate butt kicker. They'll push you forward. And that will be the level, the balance between those two will be established really according to what it is you need and what the balance is you need there. You can expect accountability, someone to follow up with you on the things you say you're going to do, which is an extremely valuable thing, as we all know. And you can also expect tools, resources, exercises to support your progress. And certainly the opportunity to create understanding and insight and real growth. How much work will coaching be? Great question. So look, this is really entirely up to you, but what I would suggest is that if you are feeling resistant towards the work that coaching might bring, then perhaps you're not ready for coaching, because coaching is work, and it involves work, and the reason for that is because working towards your dreams and your hopes and your goals is work. Things don't just happen for you. So it will involve work. How does it involve work? It involves work in the one-on-one sessions. The time with your coach it will be uncomfortable and it will be challenging at times because it involves you getting a bit vulnerable. It involves you facing some of your own blocks, some of the ways that you hold yourself back, and it involves making some pretty scary sometimes progress towards your dreams. It involves work between the sessions as well, as you actually start to take steps towards what it is you want to see happen. And that is very much the balance of how much work that is will be very much determined by how much energy and how much space you have in your life. But what I would suggest is if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed by how busy you are or how little space and energy you have, then maybe you need to work on creating some of the space first to start to take some of those steps. Because if you are fully overwhelmed in crisis mode, then it's going to be difficult to progress forward. Equally, you don't want to rush things. You don't want to take on too much and at any one time. So it's about finding the sustainable balance. I see phone, Skype, and in-person coaching options. Which should I choose? Cool. So there are a lot of different ways you can get coaching, and they're all really equally valid solutions. Part of that is just about you recognizing the way you like to work. If you can't stand talking on the phone, then phone coaching probably isn't the right option for you. So have a think. If you really are most comfortable working in person, then have a look at the in-person options around you. If you kind of appreciate not having your face seen, so you can, you might be emotional or things like that, then phone can be a great option, or Skype without video. So have a think about what works for you normally. And also feel free to ask your coach how they tend to work the most. Each of those mediums of coaching, they bring unique benefits and challenges. And so if a coach typically doesn't work by phone, then that might be a more difficult thing for them to get around and really make the progress with. What qualifications or experience should I be looking for? So this is a tricky one, and it's tricky because as yet there's no fully fledged qualifying body for coaching. So a coach could start from anywhere from absolutely no training at all through to like a 2-day training course, through to training that spans over a year or more. So it's a tricky one because it is a skill, and it is a skill that some people do have an innate ability to do, and some people, they learn it as a skill. And so I don't necessarily think a coach without qualifications equals a bad coach. However, if a coach doesn't have qualifications that you can see, it will be a good idea to delve into some things like testimonials and their experience, and just chatting to them about their pathway that they came to coaching from. I would be wary of a coach that shows little interest in growth or development, because that is what coaching is all about. It's all about growth and development. So do chat to them about that, and perhaps it's just simply because their pathway of growth and development has been one that doesn't have a piece of paper to it. If you are looking at the qualifications, you can look at the length of time the qualification lasts for. As you can imagine, it's difficult to have the same level of skill and growth and development from a 2-day course as it is to one that spans a year or more. So feel free to have a look at that. And the other thing you can look for is the International Coaching Federation, or ICF. They're one of the most widely recognised accreditation bodies. So a coach that is working towards that or has achieved accreditation with them is going to operate at a certain standard. However, in saying that, you'll find more business and career and executive coaches with that level of accreditation, simply because that's what's being demanded of them, and the variety of more personal coaches, the variety of accreditation or qualifications will be more diverse. But I think the best thing you can do is just chat to the person, go with your gut, go with what feels good, and go with someone that can ask you better questions than you can ask yourself. It's a good place to start. Why did you become a coach? Cool. So I came from a long career in the outdoor industry. I was very focused on the development that people can go through outdoor activities. So I had a lot of my own personal and professional growth and development through my outdoor career. And that was really where I fell in love with how much more potential and untapped potential we have as people, and also within our lives. And I started to get quite frustrated with how many people are living in a life that they're not satisfied with, and that they don't feel fulfilled by, and that they don't have the energy to really, really enjoy. So coming to coaching, it allowed me to essentially do that for my own life. I shifted through a lot of compromise and coming and creating a life I wanted to live all around me. So coming to coaching allowed me that, and also allowed me to better support people to make these shifts towards a life that they really, really love. So that's how I came to coaching. Let's have a look. That looks like us. Katie, I'm just going to see if we have any more questions via Messenger or on this. No, that looks like it covers them all. So I hope that's been helpful, whether you're watching live or whether you watch the replay. If you do have other questions, I'm always happy to talk about coaching. I love coaching. I get value from coaching, and I get value from coaching people. So do feel free to ask anytime. Throughout this week, I've also shared a few tips on how to find the right coach for you. So I'll drop those links down below in the comments. But other than that, have a wonderful day. See ya.